A radio show host in Seattle called Paul Gallant.
You are definitely living in the hindsight world today, Paul.
Do you feel there's been a consistent theme with the interceptions?
I think every interception really has a different story.
I was just kind of curious what Paul gets to see.
You got f***ing grow, mother. Are you kidding me?
Paul Gallant, what the hell is wrong with you?
Hello and welcome aboard another episode of the Gallant Says podcast. Available live exclusively on Twitch and on YouTube. Twitch.tv/Gallant Says, YouTube.com/Paul Gallant. Also available wherever you get your podcasts. Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, and SoundCloud. It is late, 11:44 p.m. Central Time on November 2nd of 2022. The 5-year anniversary, coincidentally, of the Houston Astros winning their first World Series against the Los Angeles Dodgers. You might remember that night if you were an OG Paul Gallant listener, because that was the night that I did an 8-hour radio show to celebrate the Astros winning said World Series. I drank a bottle of Andre along the way. I probably should have gotten a second bottle. The phone line was loaded all night long, and it's the most fun I've ever had over the course of my career. So how fitting was it that the Houston Astros did something that's just so fucking on brand, and it's beautiful? A combined no-hitter, which they've done a couple of times. In fact, they did it earlier this year against the New York Yankees, and they did it way back in the day. I want to say it was 2005, maybe 2003, against the New York Yankees. Now they did it in the World Series. It's the second no-hitter in World Series history, and oh my God, it's so delicious. You know what's been interesting? I post some of the clips from this show on TikTok, my radio show, this show too. And I found that there's been a lot of Philadelphia fans commenting on it. Fighting Phils. And they got very upset with the idea that they're bandwagon fans. Maybe they aren't. They are naive, though. Imagine your team lost 13 of 20 to end the regular season, and they go on this miraculous run, and you go into a World Series against a juggernaut, and you're legitimately thinking you're going to win. Cautious optimism, I would have entertained. Actual confidence, shut the fuck up. You 5'3" nobodies, because that is who you are. What you just saw right there, that is who you are compared to the best team in baseball over the course of the last decade. A team that will struggle to even get a hit, let alone score an actual run. Game 1, Game 2, Game 3, you had your moments. No doubt about it. Batmouth says don't feed Philly. I'm going to give them all of the bullshit that they have given to me over the last couple of days. You guys consider yourself to be a great trash-talking city, despite having, like, 0 pelts on the wall, except for the Philadelphia Eagles Super Bowl, after which you ran the head coach out of town like 5 seconds later. But that's fine. That's who you are. You don't know how baseball works. Sure, the Phillies have had some good years in the past. They won a World Series, 2008 or something like that? They've won a couple of World Series in their history, more than the Astros, that's for sure. But you don't actually care about baseball, and all of a sudden you come gallivanting in here, bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, with a big old fucking smile on your face, acting like you were actually going to be able to do something here. And look, there's a lot of series left. This could go 6, it could go 7. I don't know what ultimately is going to come of it. All I know is that you were acting far too cocky after hitting 5 home runs in a game where the Astros offense couldn't get anything going. And look, the Astros offense scored all 5 of its runs in this game in the 5th inning, but there were moments where you felt like, okay, this is close. They're close to breaking this thing open. Aaron Nola, like, I guess he's good. I don't fucking know. I don't think much of him. But what I do know is Christian Javier is a fucking menace. That was an incredible start by Christian Javier. And honestly, if we're going to second guess Dusty Baker, what you should second guess him for is not putting Javier in Game 3, which you did against the Yankees, but for whatever reason, you put Lance McCullers in Game 3 for this World Series. And, of course, you saw what happened in last night's game. Lance McCullers got roughed up. 5 home runs. Christian Javier was in complete control of this game, and honestly, he could have pitched the whole thing, I think. 97 pitches through 6 innings, 9 strikeouts along the way, 2 walks, and the Astros, again, combined for a no-hitter, striking out 14 Phillies in progress. That is what the Astros pitching is. This is what it can be. This is how good they are. And I'm not denying the Phillies have some good bats. The Phillies have some good players. But this is what the Astros are on their best day. And they are capable of doing this again. Javier only went 6 innings. You could easily pitch him in Game 7. He should start in Game 7 right now after what you saw. That was a lights-out performance. One of my favorite moments, and I forget what inning this took place, was when Bryce Harper struck out. I think it was on a high fastball. Could be wrong on where the actual pitch was located. And you just saw this look on his face, and he was like, oh, fuck. That's what Christian Javier does. He has been awesome all season long, and maybe you didn't know that if you're a casual baseball fan like myself that doesn't follow the Astros on a nightly basis. He is a guy that probably would not have popped up the top of the statistical boards because he didn't qualify, because he didn't pitch enough innings. But strikeouts per 9, walks per hits per innings pitched. This guy's was fucking amazing. And you got to wonder about going forward, or where does Javier fit into the Astros' grand scheme? He's got ace stuff. He really does. I like Framber Valdez. I think McCullers occasionally, it's not consistently enough, has really good stuff. Now, obviously, Justin Verlander is one of the best pitchers, at least in the regular season, that we've seen over the last 20 years. But Javier excites me in a way that those guys just don't. And I think it's because of the unknown and the unknown ceiling and the untapped potential and all those things. But he was fucking tremendous tonight. He really was. Some comments. Largobot, a young Paul Gallant, grew up riding the MBTA rails, dreaming of his Astros throwing a no-hitter in the World Series one day. Yes, I definitely jumped on the Astros bandwagon. The funny thing is, my bougie ass didn't go on the actual MBTA until I think I was like 12, 13. That was when I started going to school in a place that actually had the MBTA go to it. Humberto Gonzalez on YouTube says, youtube.com/Paul Gallant, let's go Astros. Who care if with wannabe A's? Verlander and Lance. I'm sorry, I'm having a hard time reading this. Let them go. We have 2 new A's today. I'm guessing you're trying to say aces. Valdez and Javier. Whoop, whoop. Okay, lots of misspellings along the way, Humberto, but it's okay because tonight is a good night. I don't know if you saw the video that I put up on Twitter. Gallant says. I also put it on my TikTok if you're one of those people and follow it. I post stuff on TikTok. I never actually look or engage. There were a couple of Phillies fans who were like, you don't know Phillies fans today. I was like, actually, half my family's from Philadelphia. I do know Philadelphia fans. They're a great deal. So I just posted something really condescending on it, and hopefully a lot of people will take the bait and say some dumb shit and actually get the thing to blow up, because that's all it's about. I just want the clicks on TikTok. TikTok's a stupid app. But the Astros were fantastic in this game. Offensively, I do want to see more. Obviously, you started off good. At least you forced 20 pitches the first inning. What was it, 22, 20, something like that? But you go through this game, and now I'm looking at the play-by-play in the box score on ESPN.com. Second inning, you have a Kyle Tucker double to open things up. Christian Vázquez gets hit by a pitch, and then Aledmys Diaz, who, he hasn't done anything. You got to put David Hensley in for the rest of, I think, the World Series at designated hitter. And Chas McCormick both struck out. So you had 2 runners on, a guy on first and third with 1 out. You didn't score any in the second. You can't miss more opportunities like that. And then you go to the top of the 4th inning. Yuli singles, Vázquez singles. There's 2 outs. You got a runner on first and second, and again it's Diaz who grounds out. You got to put Hensley in there. And then it was the 5th inning where everything fell apart for Nola. McCormick gets a single, Altuve gets a single, Jeremy Pena gets a single. I think John Smoltz said something along the lines of Nola fucked up on one of the pitches that he threw to Altuve. Altuve got the hit, and that's what led to the absolute massacre of, what's this guy's name? Arenado? Alvarado. That's right. Yeah, he sucks. If by relief pitcher you mean relieve yourself on national TV, that's what Alvarado was. Am I right, folks? Am I right? Hey, that's the wrong one. No, that's the wrong one, too. There we go. Maybe I'll do it again. Hey, Alvarado, relief pitcher. Looked like he was relieving himself on national TV. Nailed it. God, I'm so fucking smooth. Hey, right after he came in, they hit Yordan Alvarez on the first fucking pitch. That walks in a run. Bregman gets the double to deep right. That scores 2. Kyle Tucker hits a sacrifice fly. That scores 4. Yuli singles again. Bregman scores. Yuli. Oh. Wonderful performance. As expected. And then from there, Javier, strikeout, foul out. Ground out. It was an incredible performance by Javier. If you're not feeling good coming out of this game, I don't know what to tell you. I imagine that everyone right now is feeling fantastic about what the Astros were actually able to do. Maybe you're not an Astros fan. Maybe you're a Phillies fan. You saw what you saw, and you're like, well, we still have a chance. And no doubt, you still do. I'm not calling this series over by any means. I think the Phillies have shown toughness, and I actually do respect them. Maybe not their fans as much. I don't think the Phillies fans are really as into it as the broadcast is trying to make it out to be. And speaking of that broadcast, let's talk about Dodger Joe Davis and the entire Fox broadcast. Have you ever seen a broadcast mention no-hitter more than they did? Holy fucking Christ. Point upstairs. I gotta stop saying that as much as I do. I really do. I say it too much on this show. This is actually a serious note. I don't know why I say it as much as I do. But holy shit. They said no-hitter and then put up a graphic that said no-hitter no less than 4,651 times. I might be exaggerating a little bit. Whatever. Can we tone it down? I get it. Dodger Joe Davis, he's like the regular Dodgers broadcaster. One of my friends was texting me. He was like, hey, you enjoying Joe Davis on the broadcast? And I was like, I actually haven't watched a game with the television broadcast on until last night. Tonight I went to Austin's backyard on 19th and 20th up in the Heights in Houston, and he was on the call, and he just kept on saying, there's a no-hitter going on. There's a no-hitter going on. Fuck you, dude. I hate to sound like all those people bitching and moaning about Joe Buck all of these years, but holy shit, man. If there was ever someone trying to jinx a no-hitter, it was him, and it was also the Fox broadcast. I mean, my God. Over and over and over they brought it up. And here's the thing. I don't believe jinxes are real. I really don't. Okay? I'm the kind of person that doesn't believe in ghosts, barely believes in the supernatural, wants badly to believe in the supernatural. I'm a recovering Catholic that has his own issues with just believing in a higher power. I want there to be one. I hope that there is one. I like to think that that makes you a good person. Maybe I'll save this for the religion off-season show or something like that. But everyone in baseball gets pissed off when you mention that a no-hitter is in progress. Do I ever have a problem with it being brought up on the broadcast? No. In fact, I often troll online saying, oh, there's a no-hitter. Oh, there's a no-hitter. Especially if the team that is going up against the Astros or previously the Mariners is throwing one. I'm like, oh, there's a no-hitter right there. There's a no-hitter. But they said it so much. Like, have some respect for the baseball fan. Occasionally, that's fine. 16 times? And then the graphic in the bottom right that said no-hitter? That was too much. And I get it. The Astros threw a no-hitter. Clearly, jinxes aren't real. It doesn't actually matter. But, I don't know. Have some respect for the average baseball fan out there, right? Let's read some comments here. Twitch.tv/Gallant says, YouTube.com/Paul Gallant. Message is deleted. Have you addressed MLB trolling with the 5th inning stat on the box score? What the fuck, man? They trolled so hard. Batmel says they turns no-hitter into a drinking game. Yeah, honestly, we should have turned it into a drinking game. And I'll be honest, at Austin's, I had two, what are they called? Mexican candy. That's racist, but 2 Mexican candy shots. What's in a Mexican candy shot? A Mexican candy shot has watermelon pucker. What the fuck is that? And tequila with a dash of hot sauce and chili lime salt. Yeah, it was very good. I had 2 of those, and I had a couple of High Noons, a couple of White Claws. You know, I had myself a good old time. Anyway, you know, I still was able to pay attention to the broadcast and hear all the times that they seemingly were jinxing the Astros no-hitter. Messages deleted is saying, fuck jinxes, it's just bullshit. Yeah. Messages deleted continues saying ghosts are not real. I don't believe in ghosts either. It's just an unwritten rule saying that there's a no-hitter gets you banned. Mega.com 69 looks like we found. Oh, wow. This is our first Twitch chat with like spam. Good for us. And this is messages deleted as Dick Willie / Kareem James. You gotta pick your handle, bro. Violence and regret are in Mexican candies, says Batmouth. What does that even mean? Wait a second. I feel like I have to look that up. Violence and regret, Mexican can. Whoa, it came up. What comes up here? My biggest regret in moving to Mexico, a night of regret, the arrest of TUSD's former MAS director. That sounds like Breaking Bad plot. Okay, never mind. Look, to wrap our thoughts up here, because I got to start doing prep for tomorrow's show, pulling up some audio and stuff before we get back on ESPN 97.5 and 92.5. And if you haven't ever checked out the show, we are on 10 to noon on ESPN 97.5 and 92.5. We have a show podcast as well, in addition to this show podcast. I feel really confident going forward in the Astros. I think you should too. Now, they're going to have to make, I think, some tough decisions that I'm not 100% sure that Dusty Baker is going to make without a kick in the ass or something like that. But Christian Javier has to be your Game 7 starter right now. This series is coming back to Houston since it's tied at 2-2. Justin Verlander goes on the hill tomorrow. I'm not going to lie. I don't feel great about it. But Game 6 and Game 7 should be Framber Valdez and Christian Javier. I don't think there's any question about it. Now, maybe the Phillies get a better read on Javier this time around, but they had no answer for Valdez, and they had no answer for Javier, and I don't think they really have any answer for anyone in the bullpen. And it goes back to the lineup. The lineup has to be better than what it's been. I know they scored 5 runs tonight. It was all in one inning, and if we are going to celebrate, we also need to beat up what we would not ignore in defeat. It's great that the Astros won through Aledmus Diaz and then the 9-hitter. It's great that everyone except for Aledmus Diaz. Why the fuck? Start David Hensley. God damn it. It's great that everyone in the Astros lineup had a hit other than Aledmus Diaz, you know? But. I need more from Altuve, who did have a nice hit. I need more from Yordan Alvarez, who did have a nice hit. I need more from Alex Bregman, who had the big double. I guess Bregman's the one guy that you look at and you're like, yeah, okay. But Yordan Alvarez hitting 133 in this World Series. Alex Bregman's hitting 188. Jose Altuve's hitting 278. Like, you need more. You need more from the big bats, you know? The Astros' bottom hitters are the ones who are hitting the best, as Messages Deleted points out on the Twitch. Twitch.tv/Gallant says, YouTube.com/Paul Gallant. You ain't kidding. Chas McCormick, he did strike out 3 times, but he did have a couple of critical hits. Christian Vasquez is the same thing. I guess we count Yuli Gurriel as the bottom of the Astros lineup. Look, they did what they needed to do. But they need to do more. I think that Philadelphia will score some runs in the next game. I don't feel great about Justin Verlander on the hill. Philadelphia was definitely able to tap into something, and I think that, you saw that just constantly mentioned little video of Bryce Harper talking with Alec Bohm. Seriously, that was accidental. Alec Bohm. We're talking to him on the, before he went up to bat. Oh, wow, he's got some sort of secret. Whoa, what's going to happen? I think Bryce Harper's very sharp, intelligent, and I imagine that with whatever film that they study on Verlander from night one, they will figure out another way to attack him for this game too. This is going to be Justin Verlander's 10th World Series start. Man, that's crazy to think that he still hasn't won one. He's 0-6 in 9 starts with a 6+ ERA. 10th time's the charm? Does that work? Is that a thing? It should be. But I don't feel great about him. I do feel good about Game 6. I do feel good about Game 7. And it's just going to be a matter of the Astros bats doing things in more than just one inning, because that's really been the entire postseason thus far. Lots of dry innings. Hell, they showed that graphic. I think there was another graphic they showed. It had nothing to do with the no-hitter, but it said like the Astros scored in the first 16 innings. Do a little math on top of my head. 5. 10 runs the first 16 innings, and then the 15 innings after that, they scored 0. It's like kind of another fuck you graphic by Fox. I blame Dodger Joe Davis. They need to score in more than just one inning. I think that's rather obvious. I would prefer, though, if they do score runs, I don't know, 2 in the first, 3 in the second, 4 in the third. Nice little, do my math correctly, 7-0 lead early on. Hell yeah. Mattress Mac says, popping bottles. Excuse me, Mattress Mac is not in this Twitch chat. I forgot. Largobot says, Mattress Mac was popping bottles in the club. Getting his fingers stanky with some Delaware County tuna fish. Jesus Christ. Because he went to Wawa afterwards. That's why. He got himself a Wawa sandwich. Anyway, I appreciate y'all for tuning in to this late night edition of the Gallant Says podcast. If you couldn't tell, I'm a little lit. Not too lit. I feel very cocky and condescending, and I think that's the best version of me when it comes to talking about sports. Anyway, I appreciate every single one of you so much. If you haven't already, subscribe to the Gallant Says podcast, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, SoundCloud. Leave a rate, a review, whatever you want to do. If you are a listener, if you are a watcher, youtube.com/Paul Gallant or twitch.tv/Gallant Says, whatever you choose. I enjoy doing this show with you. I really like this little chat feature that we have on the side as well. Even with little 69mega.com, have a good time, find your love. I like that we have become big enough that we're actually getting some sex spam in the chat comment section. That's really like a big step in the right direction in terms of turning this show into a big deal. Anyway, so long. Farewell. You'll hear me tomorrow at 10 on ESPN 97.